Welcome to this preview video for Flow. Flow is a game from Pika Games, an imprint company of Fantasia Games, and this statement on its own has a lot of gravity and a lot of strength, because actually Fantasia Games brought us an amazing game, Endless Winter, which we loved. Then they came up with the second game in their series, the Unconscious Mind, which we're waiting, anticipating to get it in our hands. I had the opportunity to preview, and now this imprint company of Fantasia Games, Pika Games, comes with a new game which actually redefines the genre that I really like, Euro games with worker placement mechanisms, adding adventure into the mix and creating what I would say a hybrid game of an adventure fantasy worker placement Euro game with all sorts of fun, a lot of things to discover, a lot of things to do, and many interesting mechanics. Now, without further ado, I'm going to present later the details and the rules. I'm going to add a link in the description for the crowdfunding campaign of the Kickstarter of Flow, so you can find out more and follow the campaign. We have already presented a video with unboxing the prototype. In this video, you'll find the detailed rules. I will have timestamps so you can jump to specific sections of the rules, or you can jump directly at the end of this video for my review and my opinion after I had a couple of sessions with the game and what I think about it so far. As you can understand, I'm already excited, and I really enjoyed my gameplay and my experience, my gaming experience with the game. It is a game that really is like no other, and I'm going to focus more on that at the end of this video, because I haven't, in my huge collection, I haven't had any adventure Euro game, worker placement game, with all these elements so nicely crafted and blended together to deliver this gaming experience. And all this in an excellent and amazing wrap with Andrew Brosley, amazing art, with fantastic development, with amazing designers on the wheel, and. So, Flow. It's a fantasy world with animal character heroes, with familiars, on a very, I would say, dangerous and frosty and cold environment. Players are going to gain warmth and other resources in their village by doing village actions, because on your turn you can either do a village action and let's say prepare for your adventure and your trips, or you can delve out of your village and explore either by ship or by traversing over the ice flows on the shallow waters, explore new tiles, new areas, new locations, and delve into different encounters, cave encounters, sea encounters, or ice encounters, and use all these to form, let's say, a story, a journal of your trips, of your memories, by gaining victory points and gaining experience down the road. Now, the game is not a narrative game, it is a strategy game, but it has a very strong adventure feeling, which I haven't seen in this type of games. I both love Euro games with worker placement mechanisms and other mechanisms. Here, this one has a fantastic Mancala mechanism, amazingly knitted into the under the hood, into the game mechanics, but it builds so much on the adventure and the exploration and the story and the things to discover and the theme of the game. So, without further ado, join me at the table. I'll show you how the game works. I'm going to add in the description of this video a link to the Kickstarter campaign page. I'm going to add timestamps so you can jump directly to the different sections of the video rules. It's going to be a very detailed section and explanation of the rules, but keep in mind that the game is going to be perceived as a 3 steps introductory way to deliver the gaming experience, where you gradually learn the rules, and you start from a very simple and inviting and family-friendly game to a more, I would say, strategic, with more options and more things to discover and do during your turn. And this is the ultimate, I would say, experience that I'm going to deliver. They have a lot of different things that they're going to unlock and present during the campaign, but you'll find more on that later on during their Kickstarter. So join me at the table and let's see how Flow works in practice. Flow is an adventure strategy game that will take you on a heroic journey across the Iceberg Sea. Choose your path and leave your mark on the realm. What type of hero will you be? Will you explore the ever-changing iceberg islands and discover long-lost secrets? Sail the windy waves in search of sunken treasure and daring adventure? fight fearsome monsters on your journey into the frozen heart of the ice, or kick back and enjoy some kelp noodle soup. Leave the village to explore the icebergs and seas that lie around, and during your quest you may gather resources, discover new regions, and search inside caves, face difficult monsters, and build shrines, leaving your mark from times to come. You will not be alone in your quest. You will have your trusty familiar at your side at all times. They can extend your exploration range, help with tasks around the homestead, and jump into the fray when battling monsters. As always, beware of the cold. Venturing outdoors may take a toll on your health, and you must ensure you are warm enough to explore further. From time to time, you will return to the village, where you might warm up, rest a bit, gain new items, meet other adventurers, and prepare for your next big adventure. So welcome to this video of showcasing the new game from Pika Games, an imprint company of Fantasia Games. This is Flow. This is a game that I'm going to explain all the rules and all the details, and I'm going to add timestamp quick jumps for the rules coming with the game. But keep in mind that the game will come with an unlocking system that will allow you to progressively play 3 introductory games and learn with increasing, let's say, difficulty or increasing set of rules, the full game. The game starts from a simple and inviting game and ends up in a rich game with a lot of possibilities and a great adventure. So, what you see in front of you is a prototype material. Everything is prone to change. It looks gorgeous in my opinion, as you can already see. I'm going to explain the full game, but keep in mind that this is going to be introduced over a course of 3 introductory games so that it can be more easy for players to get into Flow. So, without further ado, let's start with the components. So what you see in front of you is the game already set up in a play area for 1 player. What you don't see in front of you is the cave board, because it is one more board that I'm going to show you that goes on the bottom of this setup. We have the 6 map region boards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over here. We have the village board, which sits on top of the areas and the ice flows to be explored. And we have the cave board, just to show you right now, which is this one. And it's going to be inserted at the bottom of the game board and extend for the full setup. More on that later. The game comes with 4 player boards, 1 for each of the players that you see in front of you. This is very high quality material, as expected. Okay, I have already used one to setting up the play area for one of the players to show how it's going to be in game. We have different hero tiles. So just to show you again, these are the hero tiles that depict our 3 heroes, +1 for Ubuntu here 4. And we also have 4 familiars. Each hero is going to have 1 familiar assisting with their adventure. You see 3 familiars here. And there is 1 more already for the player, the orange player. We have 16 hero ability cards, each going on a set of 2 cards, depicting 4 different levels. For example, you can be a Wanderer, level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Or a Smuggler, or an Alchemist, or a Naturalist, a Cartographer, or a Windcaller, or even a Tavern Tipper. For this case, I have selected an Explorer. It's already there, and it's the hero ability for my hero already set up. Game comes with 4 hero miniatures that you see with their respective color bases. I have already made an unboxing video of the prototype, and you can see how this is going to look. It's already gorgeous. There's going to be all sorts of different things unlocked, and there's going to be some things also progressively unlocked, if I'm not mistaken. But just to show you one of the things that really pops out among the beautiful art, the beautiful components, is the fantastic sculptures for the heroes. Again, I have selected a hero for my own, which is Ubuntu here. And you can see Ubuntu getting ready for adventure. Each player is also going to get one of their familiars. Okay, the familiars have the same color base like their heroes. They are in different color. They are very, very beautiful, and they also give the ability to the players to further explore and do additional things. More on that later. We also have 2 ship miniatures used for exploration. And they start on the 2 piers on the main island. By the way, this is the main tile, this is our village, and you can see a depiction of the village with the different areas for worker placement on the top, but on the map it's this little area over here. We also have 4 villagers, which come in fantastic small minis also. Villagers are going to be populating the different worker placement spots on the village, as explained later, and you can have more than one, and they're moving in a very nice system when you do worker placement. The more villagers you find when you do an action, the more warmth you acquire by meeting more people, and this is a fantastic concept too. In addition, we have 4 player aids. One side depicts the cave battle sequence. It's very easy once you done one battle, but the steps are described in detail. And then you have the spell book, how you can spend spells, spell icons in order to acquire different things. You can do a healing spell, an insight spell, an artifice spell, or a flowstorm spell. So each player is going to get one of these player aids in their player board, all sorts of different markers matching their color. These are flowstones, more on the player setup later. We have a bunch of tiles. We have top and bottom building tiles. These are the bottom tiles. This is a face up stack, and we have 2 already face up, +1, 3. And these are the top. Again, this is a stack, face up, and 2 more, so making a pair of 3. In addition, we have various tokens, like the potion tokens, the crystal tokens. These are map tokens. These are crates where you can find different things. We have all sorts of different enemies, depending on the color of the back of the deck. We have the dice, which look amazing. We have the combat die. We have 3 bags for exploring, respectively, ocean, icebergs, and caves, and their color matching the different flags, as you can see. We have landmarks that players will encounter, and they're going to build them, and these are the landmark standees that they're going to go. Assuming they're going to be beautiful miniatures. I have no clue, but knowing Fantasia games and Pika games subsequently, they are really good on the quality of the material of what they produce. They do beautiful games, both from gameplay but also from eye candy point of view. These are items that you can acquire and also upgrade in order to help you with activating dice icons and doing different things during the battle, and they're very useful. And last but not least, we have some map discovery tiles. These depict the prerequisites that you need to meet in order to explore into further away from the village. These 2 tiles start explored, and you have 2 more that they are unexplored. As part of the setup, more on that later, we can see that the 2 of them are always the same, so the village on top and this one on the bottom, and those 4 ones can be mixed and matched as depicted on the back of the tile. Here the victory point tracker. The game triggers for ending once one player reaches the 6th victory point. Once that is done, we continue playing the current round, and then we take 1 additional turn, a set of rounds for set of turns for every player, and then the game ends. These are the scoring markers in the player colors. We have additionally some cards that you see here and here. Just to give you an idea, we have the tavern cards, which are these cards, the deck face up, and 1 card already revealed, so a set of 2. We have also the ally quest cards. We have hidden secret goals, and also we have the treasure deck. So this is a very brief summary of all the components. We have exploration tokens for icebergs also in the sea areas, and everything is described on the rulebook with details, so you can find out more about the contents and the components of the game. Now let's move to setup. First, we start by placing the 2 starting map boards, first and second, with the village and the dragon held, the icebergs, face up in the center of the common play area. So these two should always be in the center and exactly in this orientation. The village should be on top and the dragon head, the icebergs here should be at the bottom. These are face up. Now, following that, you randomly place two map boards face down to the right, so 1, 2 to the right, and two more to the left, so 1, 2 to the left of the starting map boards. These 4 are face down, and you can see that these 4 are intended to be on the exterior part because they have the question mark on the side, on the left, on the right, and on the left respectively. So you can mix and match all these 4 in any way you want, giving a modularity on the board and a different board every single time. So this adds a lot of replay value in my opinion, but those 2 should always be in the center exactly as you see in front of you. Then you randomly place one map discovery tile on each map board. These are the discovery tiles that I've shown you before. They're two-sided, as you can see. Okay, you mix and match, but it's recommended that you place 2 of those 4 cloud map discovery tiles with the 2 merit side and 2 showing the 1 merit side. What do I mean 2 merit side? You can find them here. 2 merit side and 1 merit side. Okay, so 2 of them should be with the 2 merit side and 1 should be with the 1 merit side. You place them randomly on those 4. This you can ignore. This is just part of the setup. I just didn't have any space. Okay, so there's nothing else on top of those undiscovered map tiles, map boards. And then once you have constructed this, you can go on the top and place the village board. So this is a village board. It sits on top of those map boards that I shown you before. You unfold it and you place it exactly above those 6 map boards. This is called the village board, and then you're going to populate it according to the setup instructions that I'm going to share with you later. At the bottom of all this setup, meaning below the village board and below the 6 map boards, you're going to stick this cave board, as you see. So this is going to go below those 6 boards. Now, because I don't have a lot of space on my table, I'm just showing you on a separate takes. Okay, but you can imagine it as being one big board consisting of all these separate elements. This is called the cave board, and it goes at the very, very bottom, or in any other area of the surface, but it's recommended to go at the very bottom. The village. Let's focus on the village. First, we place the landmark standees. These are over here on the left, here on the left, near the landmark area. These standees depict the different landmarks. I'm speculating, no one has told me, but most probably they're going to be some beautiful minis, but let's wait and see. Okay, but these are the landmark standees, and they're going to be built from the players in the course of the game. So you place them randomly close to, no specific order, close to the play area. Once you've done that, you shuffle the item deck. This is the item deck. It has the normal side and the upgraded side. It has exactly the same item, normal side with a cyan background and upgraded side with golden background. So you take it, you shuffle, you create a pile of those face up, so already depicting one of the items, and then you take 2 more items for a total of 3 items displayed at any given time. This is called the item deck. Then you shuffle the potion tokens. These are the potion tokens. I have placed them in one container. This doesn't come with the game, but I really like the color, so it's a good fitting. So you make a random stack face down with the potion tokens. You place it nearby, near the board. And then you shuffle the tavern deck, which is this one. It has various characters. This is a tavern deck. Okay, so you shuffle it, you place it face up, and you reveal also 1 additional card for a total of 2 always on display. You do exactly the same with the ally deck, which is this one. This is the ally deck. Okay, you shuffle it. Beautiful art from Andrew Bosley. You place it face up, and then you also reveal 1 more card. So you have 1 and 2 on display similarly. Then you shuffle the building top tiles. and stack them face up above the village, and then you draw 2 more for a display of 3. So 1, the whole stack, revealed face up, and then you draw 2, 3, so you have 3 in total. And you do the same with the bottom building tiles. You shuffle them, make a face up stack, and then reveal 2 more at the bottom. Just to show you, this is the back of the bottom tiles, and this is the back of the top building tiles. It doesn't matter because these stacks are always going to be face up, as you can see, and they're going to create 3 pairs. So 1 pair, bottom and top, 2nd pair, air, and 3rd pair. Make sure to keep separately the 4 bottom and 4 top starting building tiles, and you can easily distinguish them because they have a spot, a circular spot with dotted line for placement of your familiar. Okay, those 4 top and bottom tiles are not part of this display. They're going to be distributed to the players as part of their starting setup playing area. Then you shuffle the landmark deck, which is consisted of those cards. They have this back with the landmark icon. This is the landmark icon. Okay, they have different landmarks on the front side. You shuffle this deck and you place 1 card on each of the 4 spots with the landmark icon randomly, returning the rest back into the box. They're not going to be used for the rest of the game, and they create a replayability with the additional cards. Just close to the landmark area we have the village area with the worker placement spots. Here we simply place 1 village figure randomly on each of the spots that you have with a gray background. Here, 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 and here, for a total of 5. This is the only location which has a reddish background. It doesn't get a starting villager. Okay, so these are going to be moved around in this Mancala mechanism from spot to spot, and this is a very nice element of the game, but more on that later. For setup, it doesn't matter which miniature goes to which place, you just place 1 randomly on each of those 5 gray locations. Then you separately shuffle the sea encounter deck, the ice encounter deck, and the cave encounter deck. Each of them come with these different decks. These are all face down. As you can see, they have different types of cards, okay, for the encounter, respectively belonging to the sea, ice, and cave location. You create face down stacks for all 3 of them, and you place them on the corresponding area on the village board. Just to conclude the setup of the village board on the top of our playing area, we place the end game token, which is this one, on the 6 victory point spot as seen in front of you. The map. First we shuffle the 8 starting iceberg exploration tokens. These are these white iceberg exploration tokens. They have different things at the bottom. Okay, so we shuffle them, and we place 1 token face down on each of the iceberg white areas seen on the 2 main face up maps. So 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, etc. You see, when this sits here or here or here, doesn't matter, it's part of this iceberg. Okay, and it's called an iceberg exploration token. We also do the same with the starting sea exploration tokens, which are these dark blue ones. Okay, keep in mind that sea is considered the dark blue area, not the ice flows connecting the different sea areas. Okay, so not this white color, lighter color, the dark blue colors. So 1 sea area is this one, 1 sea area is this one. Okay, so we place 1 starting sea exploration token on each of those sea areas respectively. As long as they do not cover an icon, a shrine, a cave, or a flag, exploration tokens may be placed anywhere within the designated areas. Then we place the ice exploration tokens in the white ice bag. Okay, so this is this bag here, linked with this white iceberg exploration tokens. It has different tokens in there to be discovered, okay, and they all go in this white bag. Similarly, the sea exploration tokens are placed in the blue bag, okay, and here you also have the blue exploration tokens. Again, these are different from the starting ones. The starting ones are placed as depicted in front of your screen. Last but not least, we place the ship. So we place one ship miniature. One ship miniature goes here on this pier, and another ship miniature goes here on the second pier next to our island. They both sit in the dark blue sea areas. For 2 players, you use only one ship, and you place it in the pier located below the village. This one. Okay, but for 3 or 4 players, we use both. Now let's focus on the setup of the cave board. Again, I have placed this on top of the map boards, okay, but they're not close to this village. It's just at the bottom of the whole map, just to making it easier for convenience for the screen. Okay, all this is going to go below. So let's see the setup. First, we shuffle the 3 monster decks. These are these decks that they have the light blue, the dark blue, and the purple monster back. Okay, so we have different monsters in each of those decks. We shuffle them and we place one on each of the designated areas. So here you see we have a light blue, here we have a dark blue, and one single purple. The first one is also a light blue, and it's just a reveal because it's next to the players. So you just draw one randomly, place it here and reveal it. Then you place the monster card face down in each chamber, taking the top card, as I said, from the respective deck. You shuffle the 2 cave event cards. These are these cards which have this back, the cave event cards. We shuffle those. Okay, so the 2. We shuffle them and we select one and we place it face down without revealing what it is. Okay, on top of the event area, placing the event token on top of it. There will be more cave event tokens introduced throughout the unlocking system of the game, so more will come into play once you unlock more stuff by playing the game. You shuffle the 5 dive tiles. These tiles are those that they are on this area at the bottom. Okay, they all have this dive icon that you see here, face down. You shuffle them and you place them randomly, one beneath the other, to make a column of face up dive, reveal dive tokens on this track, as seen here. Once you've done that, you place the 5 hero dice nearby. Okay, next, below or next to the cave board, you just place the hero dice. You also place the monster die, which is this one, which has the modification for the hit, the strength of the monster. Okay, more on that later during the combat explanation. We place also the 12 exploration tokens into the pink cave bag. So this is the pink cave bag, and we place the exploration tokens in there for the cave, respectively. We place the crystal tokens nearby. These are the crystal tokens. You make 2 piles, one with a denomination of 1 and one with a denomination of 3, respectively. And then you also place the treasure deck, which is this deck with the treasures, okay, close by on a face down pile next to the cave board. So that concludes the setup for the cave board. The last thing that we do is we place these beautiful markers which have the icon for our heroes. So the respective heroes come with their icon, marker I should say, okay, something like that, for indicating the progress within the chambers of the cave. Okay, so once we've done all that, the cave setup is complete. We create a common supply which is consisted from the map tokens. Let me show you how the map tokens look like. They have this back, okay, and they can be connected to create a shrine area. So these are the map tokens. We also create a stack with the crate tokens. Crate tokens have different things depicted. Okay, it could be all sorts of bonuses, and you make a stack there. You also place the encounter standees. We have 2 standees for the encounter. Okay, these are these here. Let the camera focus. Okay, cool. And the last thing that we place is the merit die, which is this black die here, and goes close to the common area supply. The last thing we need to do for completing the setup is the player setup. So for the player setup, we place a player board in your play area. I remind you, this is how the player board looks like when it's empty. Okay, recessed, great quality, top notch. Once you place that, then you keep a reference card nearby. Here I depict both sides of the reference card. One shows the cave battle sequence and the other one shows the spell book as a reminder. So you keep one player aid close to you. Then you choose a player color, a hero tile and the corresponding hero figure, and you place your hero tile on the leftmost space of your player board and place the hero figure on the main island. So you take your hero mini of your choice. Okay, you select the tile of your hero, you place it on the left of your player board to indicate which hero you're controlling, and then once you've done that, you take the mini and you place it on the main island. Once you've done that, you take the hero ability cards I've shown you during component breakdown. Okay, so you take the hero ability cards corresponding to your hero. Okay, so this is my hero. These are the specific hero ability cards that they have. He's an explorer. Okay, and he has level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. So you take them and you place them next to this area as seen here, creating a stack, placing the level 1 on top and setting aside the other hero ability cards. There will be more hero ability cards introduced throughout the unlocking system of the game. Then you choose a familiar, whichever you like, and you take the corresponding familiar tile. Okay, I selected Yuma. Okay, I place it on the right side of my player board in the designated spot. I also take a matching base for my mini of the selected familiar that I have received. And once I've done that, I place the figure on the cave action space of the familiar tile, which is this one over here. We ensure that the tile is showing the side with the warmth icon on the top right. Okay, because you need to spend warmth to use the familiar. We'll see how this works later on. Once you have upgraded, you don't need to spend and flip the tile. You don't need to spend warmth for doing that. Then we take one starting building top. I remind you, the starting building tops have this area for placement of the familiar. Okay, we have 4 and we place it here. Again, here they should show a bubble. This is the icon of the bubble. Okay, the blue one. It's a misprint, so it's not warmth, it's a bubble. So you place this one on the top, and then randomly you take also a bottom starting one, which also has this one. Okay, one side has one of these icons, which are different, and you're trying to collect them in order to unlock different things, and the other side doesn't have it. Okay, so this is the bottom one, you place it at the bottom, and then they both go as a pair to the right side of your player board. You're going to be able to have more of those next to each other, top and bottom, to create additional dwellings for your hero board, and click them on the right next to each other. Then you place one warmth marker, which is the red one, on the space number 4 of your track. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you populate the four spots above that, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5, 6, 7, and 8, with tokens of your color. Once you've done that, you go and place 4 flow stones. These are called flow stones, matching your color. So orange for me, matching the color of the cubes, and the color of my base, so everything is orange for me. So I place them 1, 2, 3, 4 on the designated area, just as you see in front of you, below these icons. The one that doesn't get a flow icon is the middle track. So we have one track here, second track, which has a flow starting position. The bubble track doesn't have any, and then you have, for the other 2 resources, also a flow stone. Once you've done that, you continue by placing a pearl on the left, indicating the resource track for the pearls, a kelp here, the bubble in the middle, then you have the mushroom here and the wood here. These go at the bottom. This indicates that at the moment you have 0, but if I was here I would have 1 pearl and maybe 1 kelp, but 0 mushroom and 0 wood. I'm limited by these flow stones, so I need to increase their level to be able to acquire more resources and ultimately move it here so I can acquire the most of the resources a truck can keep, and then with another action to move it in a shrine location, but more on that later. But these are 4 resources: pearls, kelp, mushroom and wood, and the bubble in the middle does all sorts of different things, but also can be used as a joker. More on that later. Then you place one transparent cube to indicate that you're throwing 2 dice for your combat. That will be 3, later on 4 or 5 once you progress down this track. You also place marker discs in your player color in the 3 slots located to the right side of your player board, and you shift the discs so that they occupy the bottom half of each slot, you see? So these are slotted and moved to the bottom of these slots. And then you take 1 feather token and 1 random potion from the supply, which you turn face up, and this concludes all of the setup for the player board of each player. Almost, because I forgot that we also place our remaining flowstone at the bottom of the victory point track at the tier 0 level. Okay, this is the victory point track moving up, and the last step is that we place our hero cave marker at the bottom of the cave board, right beside the first face-up card that we have revealed during setup. So now that concludes all of the setup of the game, and we just start by choosing a starting player by any method. Basically, we can choose the youngest player, and all other players gain 1 bubble by advancing the bubble marker, the one in the middle out of the 5 ones on the player board, up 1 slot. Now we're ready to start the game. Game overview. Flow is played in a continuous series of turns. On your turn, you choose and perform one of the following options. You either take a village turn, which means you place your hero on an action space in the village and take an action on the top of the board, the village turn. More on that later. Or you take a map turn, you move your hero to a location on the map and take an action. This is called the map turn. More on that later. After you complete a hero action, you may perform an action with your familiar. Then the next player in clockwise order takes their turn. Play continues until one of the player markers reaches the 6th space on the victory point track, signaling the end of the game. When this happens, you complete the current round and then play one final round. After completing the final round, players reveal the secret goal cards and score victory points or half points for each fulfilled goal. You add these points to the victory point track, and the player with the most victory points wins the game, claiming the title of the boldest explorer. In case of a tie, the tied player with a half point victory point wins. If still tied, the tied player with the most unlocked flow stones is the winner of the game. You will have many opportunities to score victory points throughout the game, either as full points or half points. And here you can see the different icons for full point and half a victory point. When you score a full point, you advance your flow stone on the victory point track 1 space up for each point won this way. This is going to happen over here. So full points are going to be when a player receives a full point, they're going to move their flow stone up 1 on the victory point track. When you receive half a victory point, refer to the slot in your player board with this icon over here. You're going to have a marker at the bottom. If the marker is at the bottom position, slide it to the top like that to indicate that you have received a half a victory point. If it is already at the top position, you have already scored a half a victory point previously, slide it at the bottom back again, and then advance your victory point marker on the victory point track 1 point up to indicate the full point that you have received. In this case, I would move that here because I would have received a full point. The first player whose marker reaches the 6th space on the victory point signals the end of the game. So if at any point someone reaches here, they're going to signal the end of the game. They're going to receive this point token. Okay, this marker is going to be given to the player who receives the 6th spot on the VP track first. And if you exceed 10 victory points, you leave your marker on the 10 plus space and place a secondary marker on the track to indicate the balance. For example, you have one on the 10 plus and then one on the 3. That means you're going to have 13 points, okay? Meaning that, for example, in this case, I will take one from my player board because I'm not going to need it anymore. I can have either 7, 8, 9 or 10, moving forward when I calculate the score. And if I was here, that means that I have one on the 10 plus one on the 3, 10 plus 3, 13 victory points. Now, let's see some general concepts. Let's start with warmth. Throughout the game, your hero may spend warmth to move on the map and take specific actions. They may also gain warmth, especially in the village, and the warmth marker cube on your player board tracks your current warmth level. When you spend warmth, that means that the cube moves down an equal number of spots depending on how much warmth you spend. If I spend 2, so 1, 2, I would move my cube over here. Keep in mind that you can never go or drop below 0 warmth, and when you place your warmth cube on the 0 spot, meaning you have exactly 0, then what you need to do is you have to immediately return your hero figure to the healer action space on the village board. We'll see how this works later on, and heal yourself. When you gain warmth, you move the cube up the number of space equal to the amount gained, but you may not move the warmth cube into a space with a player cube or beyond the 8th space. So at the moment my limit is the 4th space, 1, 2, 3, 4, but progressively I'm going to remove cubes from here and add them here, so I'm going to be able to move more than 4, 5, all the way up to 8 when I manage to remove all these cubes and place them above my hero tile. Resources. We're tracking them for each player independently on their player board. Your player board shows the 5 tracks used to track the numbers of pearls, kelp, bubbles, mushroom and wood respectively. And these are the resources of the game. Each time you gain one of these resources, you move the corresponding marker up one space. For example, if I was gaining 1 wood, I would move this 1 space up to indicate that now I have 1 wood and 0 from everything else. However, flow stones limit your progress upwards. Limit the amount of pearls, kelp, mushrooms and wood resources you may gain. This is not the same applicable for the bubbles. You see, they don't have a flow stone above them. So once if you had to move and you cannot move because you either have a flow stone or you have reached the end of the track, and you can go all the way up to this area for each at the end of the track for each resource, then instead you receive a bubble. So let's say I was going to win 1 wood here, earn 1 wood, and I cannot. I earn 1 bubble instead. Okay, bubbles are tracked with this icon, with this track in the middle, with no limit of a flow stone. Likewise, if your marker reaches the top of a track, the space 4, you gain 1 bubble for each fortified resource. You may not exceed 6 bubbles and you do not gain compensation for excess of bubbles. However, you may spend bubbles at any time for resources or crystals as indicated at the bottom of your player board. Anytime during your turn you may spend 2 bubbles, as seen here, to gain 1 other resource of your choice, or 4 bubbles to gain 1 crystal. And this can be done any number of turns as long as you have bubbles to spend. Flow stones progress up towards the end of the track, their respective track, and this is indicated by an arrow pointing upwards containing either a resource specific or a question mark. For example, you can see here that it shows to progress the flow stone on the pearls track. That means that I would move that one upwards, and they progress this way further up their tracks. If the icon shows a resource, you advance the flow stone up that resource track. If it shows a question mark, you can choose a flow stone of your choice, subsequently increasing the capacity of the respective resource. By advancing a flow stone, you will permanently increase the number of resources you may have on the corresponding track for this. Whenever you advance a flow stone on the topmost space of a track, So if this reaches here, then you place it on the spot above, which has the victory point icon. You don't score a victory point immediately at that point. You're going to score it later when you move the stone on a shrine location on the map. We'll explain that more later. But also you increase the capacity, because when this happens, now you have the possibility to gain 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 4 of that resource. Also, keep in mind that a flow stone in the space above the track is unlocked and may be placed on a flow shrine on the map. Let me show you where this is as an example. For example, this would go here on the shrine. You will gain an upgrade. You need to have your explorer there in order to perform it, right? More on that later. But this is the point at which you earn the victory point beneath the flow stone, respectively. Now, as you can see, the different tracks depict symbols of merit, 2 actually of each kind on each track. So 2 merits, 2 yellow merits, which stand for prestige, 2 red merits icons, which stand for focus, 2 green ones, which stand for courage, and 2 brown ones, which stand for craftsmanship. Throughout the game, you may use merit symbols to trigger specific effects. Just show that you have them because you have progressed up at that point. Throughout the game, you may use merit symbols to trigger the different effects, and you will learn how to do that a bit later when I'm going to show you. Just for the moment, keep in mind that the merit symbols below the flow stones are available to you. So for this case, I have no focus merits available to me. I have 2 yellow prestige focus available to me. And let's say here I have 1 courage and 0 craftsmanship, respectively. Keep in mind that you can also find merit icons on some of the building bottom tiles. For example, you see already here we have 2 merit at the bottom building tiles, the bottom tiles. These merit icons are immediately available when you place their building tile next to your player board, and your starting bottom building always provides you with a merit symbol already. Once gained, of course, merit symbols remain in play for the rest of the game, and they are unaffected by the position of the resource marker on the track, and you cannot lose them. The last concept I'm going to explain before moving to the village turn and the map turn in detail is the keys and chest. As you can see, you also have chest and keys throughout the game that you can acquire, which you track on your player board. Whenever you gain a chest or a key, you slide the corresponding marker to the top position, indicating it is available. So for the example, I have 0 chest and 0 key. But if I'm here, I have 1 chest and 1 key. If the marker is available in the top position, you already have it there. For example, you already have a key, you forfeit the effect. Whenever you have a chest and a key available on your player board, in this case I have both a key and a chest available, that means that I can draw a treasure card from the treasure deck and place it face up in my play area. Then I reset both markers to the bottom positions. So I reset them, and again out of this deck 1 card, which I place it face up at the bottom of my player board, respectively. Your treasure card is now available, and you may use it on this or later turn, and when you use a treasure, you trigger one of the 3 benefits depicted on the treasure card. You see, treasure cards come with 3 effects. Okay, you select to use one of them, and once you do, then you discard it after using a treasure. You place the card face up at the bottom of the treasure deck, and if the card appears in the deck, you shuffle the deck again and prepare a new display. So that's the example of full use of a key in a chest to unlock a treasure and gain it. Now, as we said, during your turn, you either take a village turn or a map turn. Let's focus on the village turn. To take a village turn, you take your hero from its current location, for example, anywhere on the village already, or on the map, and place it on one of the village action spaces. Your hero may be in the same village action space as any other hero. Sharing a space with another hero has no effect in the game. So for example, I could be here, there could be also another hero there. It's no problem at all, okay? Keep in mind that these are heroes with bases and these are villagers, okay? These are different, explained later. So in order to take a turn, I take the hero from wherever its current location, either on another place on the village board or on an area on the map, and then I follow these steps. I place it on one of the locations. So let's say I take it and I want to take this action here, so I place it here. Okay. First of all, I gain warmth and move villagers. Second, I pay the village action cost. And third, I trigger the action effects. So let's focus a bit on that. Gain warmth and move villagers. Before resolving an action space effect, check if your hero shares a space with any villagers. Could be one or more. For example, you could have, let's say, already 2 villagers there, and you select to go and take this action, so you move your hero here, it finds 2 villagers. It could have 1 or none, or even more. Doesn't matter. What you do first is you gain warmth equal to the number of villagers there. How many villagers did I find? The orange player, 2. That means I gain 2 warmth. I go on my player board and add the warmth on the left of my player board on my warmth track. So in this case I would gain 2 warmth, meaning that I would go here on my player board, and if I have space and ability to gain warmth, I would move this 1, 2 to indicate that I just gained 2 warmth because I found 2 villagers there. If I found 3, I would gain 3. If I found 1, I would gain 1. Then you take the villagers and place 1 on each village action space clockwise from your hero. Place them like a Mancala piece, and a space may not have more than 3 villagers. Therefore, if you would place a 4th, you skip that space and you place the villager on the next space. In this case I have 2, that means I would move 1 here and 1 there. Okay, but let's say on a future round I would move to take this action. Okay, I would gain 2 warmth and I would move 1 here and 1 here, like a Mancala. In another turn, another player may come and visit this area, take this action, okay, and then they would move 1 here and 1 there. If at any point, let's assume that I had 2 here, okay, and I wanted to come here and take this action. Now I need to move 2. I cannot place a 4th one here. That means I skip this area. So instead of going here, it already has 3, it goes there, and the next one would go here. So clockwise in a Mancala fashion, the limit is 3 villagers only. If you need to place and there is 3, you skip and go to the next one in a clockwise fashion. Then I simply pay the village action cost, and then I trigger the action effect of the location that I place my hero. So it's all about the different locations and the different village action costs. Let's go and check them one by one. Now, the village spot with the reddish background compared to the ones with the grayish. So the one with the reddish background is only one, it's the healer, and has no cost. You may always spend your turn moving to this action space here and performing this action without spending anything. You just receive the reward. The remaining actions have a cost shown to the left of the arrow and the effects taking that action on the right, like you see below here. If I visit this location, I need to spend this cost to receive this reward, let's say. The 4 action spaces, the shop, the tavern, the hot springs and the works, show a question mark, like this one here. In this case, that means that it indicates a variable cost and the resource type you must spend. I need to spend pearls, and the question mark indicates a variable cost. More on that later when I explain the specific location. To pay the cost on that, you just actually, let's explain it now. You just pay the cost. The corresponding resource marker must be at the highest permitted position on your player board resource track, and then you spend the number of resources by returning the marker to the bottom space of the track, then meaning reducing it to 0. So for example, if you have unlocked all 4 positions of the pearls, the resource for the question mark stands for 4. It needs to be all the way to the top, and then you need to spend 4 pearls to do this action. But if you haven't unlocked with your flow stone any of those and you just received a single one, then you just spend a single one because just above you have the flow stone. After you have paid the resource cost, you trigger the effects of the village action space, and you do that respectively. One of the action spaces, the academy, let me show you. This is the academy. Shows 3 different options, offers 3 possible effects that cost crystals. After using a crystal, you return it to the common supply, and you can perform 1 time each of the 3 options. So now let's go to the different locations and see the effects. The healer. This is the spot for the healer. Very simple. The healer is where heroes may recuperate, gain warmth, and collect potions in preparation for the next adventure. You choose one of the 2 benefits indicated on the action space. Either you gain 4 warmth, or you gain 2 warmth and 1 potion, placing it in your play area. The shop is another location. The shop offers many valuable items that heroes will find useful both in and out of battles. To take an action at the shop, you pay the highest permitted pearl cost and advance the flow stone on your pearl track. When you do that, and this is indicated here, yeah, like we explained before, then you choose 1 item card from the display which is next to the village board, exactly on the left of the shop. These are the 3 available items, always 3. You choose one of them, one of the item cards, and you place it face up in the designated area to the top left of your player board. Finally, you refill the item display, if needed, in order to have 3. Items in play have a permanent effect as indicated on the card itself, and when you gain the requisite merit symbols shown on the top left of the item card, in this case I need to have 2 focus, for example. Sorry, 2 focus here, 2 red. Here I need to have 2 courage. When I gain those merit symbols, then I can flip the card to unlock the effect at the bottom, and you may use the effect in cave battles respectively. You want to have the equipment, the items, because they give you a lot of advantages during battles. So in terms of iconography, spend the maximum amount of pearls you can spend, then gain 1 item card, and then move your flow stone for this track 1 step up, respectively. Next is the tavern. The tavern is this spot, this location here. To take the action at the tavern, heroes will seek the opportunity to gain valuable resources and benefits from its patrons. So in order to take the action, you pay your highest permitted kelp cost, as shown with a question mark here. Okay. Then you advance the flow stone on your kelp track, and you remove the bottom cube in your warmth track and place it in a vacant storage space above your hero tile. Then you choose a card from the tavern display and choose one of the 2 offerings shown on it, and immediately gaining the effect. Finally, you place your chosen card face down at the bottom of your tavern deck and refill the display if needed. So when I take this action, I move my lowest cube out of this location, subsequently increasing my capacity for warmth, placing it here, right? And then I go to the tavern cards, they're always 2 in display. Choose one of the 2 available, receive from the card one of the 2 offerings they provide. There's a full list of iconography at the back of the rulebook for easy use. And then you replace the card, you place it at the bottom of the deck, and you replace it with another one, so that there are always 2 on display. The Hot Springs is another location. At the Hot Springs, heroes find new allies, giving quests that will take them across the ice and sea. To take an action at the Hot Springs, you pay your highest permitted mushroom cost and advance your flow stone on your mushroom track. You choose a card from the ally quest display. I remind you that there are always 2. Let me show you. And place it beneath your player board. Once you've done that, you take the card, you place it beneath your player board. I'm not going to move it now, just going to leave it there. You place your feather marker on top on the spot, on the first spot here as indicated, and you gain 1 secret quest card which comes from this deck. You gain 1 card which you're going to be able to pursue through the course of the game for goals. You're going to reveal it only at the end of the game in order to gain extra victory points. You place the feather there and you gain this hidden secret goal. Okay, You only place it on the leftmost space on the card. Once you've gained the secret goal card, as indicated above your feather marker, you do that by drawing 2 cards, adding them to your hand, and discarding one face up at the bottom of the secret goal deck. So you just don't draw 1, you draw 2, and you discard 1, so you always have choices, so that's good. And finally, you refill the ally quest display if needed, but keep in mind that you may only have 1 ally quest at any time. If you already have an ally quest and trigger the Hot Springs action again, you choose a new one from the display and you place your previous ally quest card face down at the bottom of the ally quest deck. You do not have to complete an ally card quest before being able to discard the card if you choose to do so. And whenever you meet the requisite condition on the space immediately to the right of the feather marker, you advance the feather marker to that space and gain the benefit indicated above. At the end of the game, players reveal their secret goals, and each card shows 2 goals, of which you may choose 1, both, or neither for endgame scoring. So in this case, when I do this one, I would move here and gain 1 map, for example, which is just above, and so on. This progresses, giving the opportunity to the players to progress on the quest card that they have and gain different bonuses. And just to show you quickly how the secret goal cards looks like, you have 2 options, either for full victory points or half victory points, and you can do either or both, and you can reveal them at the end of the game for extra victory point scoring. The works. At the works, heroes construct dwellings in the village that provide improved in-village actions for their familiars. To take an action at the works, you pay your highest permitted wood cost and advance the flow stone on your wood track respectively. You choose a building column from the display. Let me show you the display. Remember, we have 3 pairs that we created during setup. You choose your building column from the display and take both tiles in that column, that means the top and the bottom respective tile. You place them beside your player board to the right of your starting building tiles, and you may have any number of buildings this way. Then you draw 1 tile from each deck to refill the display if needed. So let's say I select this and that, this column, I take both, and then I would place them exactly as received next to my starting building, and then I would create a second building in a row. I can have any number of buildings to the right side of my player board, and that means that when I take the familiar action, I would be able to, more on that later, either activate all the bottom tiles or all the top tiles respectively, and do that as an additional action. The Academy. The Academy offers heroes the opportunity to exchange crystals for powerful abilities. To take an action at the Academy, you spend crystals from your supply, and you may trigger any of the 3 effects once each. The effects are as follow, and I'm going to show you a different image because there is a misprint on the second row, so let me show you how this is going to look like. Now let's see the effects of the Academy from top to bottom. The first row, you spend 1 crystal for a level up. We'll see how level up works later on. The exclamation crystal stands for equal crystals to the number of resources required to complete a village action. You spend the crystals, perform the village action without moving the hero, and advance the flow stone on the corresponding track. And the last option is spend 3 crystals to score 1 half a victory point respectively. So these are the locations. Let's check a bit the familiar village turn. Remember, after you've taken your action, you have the familiar action. So if you use the familiar for a village turn, you do the following. After performing your village action, you may place your familiar in the designated space on the leftmost building, top or bottom. That's why you have 2 slots here, 1 here at the bottom and 1 here at the top. Then you may trigger the effects of any buildings in that row. So if I put it on the top row, I'm going to trigger the effects of all the top tile buildings in that row. If I place it on the bottom, I'm going to trigger the effects of all the bottom tiles of the bottom row. The starting building row shows 2 benefits, a level up and a bubble. Again, keep in mind that this shows warmth, but it's a misprint, it should show a bubble. So that means when you activate, let's say, the top tiles, what you do is you gain a bubble, you can level up, and you can spend the bubbles that you have acquired in order to gain different benefits. The starting building bottom shows a merit and a village turn icon. Okay. That means that you may, once you activate that with a familiar, you can, of course, take a village action, as I'm going to explain later on, but you also gain access to the merit icons, or for example here you can also gain one bubble. So the starting building bottom, as I said, it shows the merit and the village turn icon, allow you to perform another village action with your hero. When you perform another village action, because you placed your familiar here, right, you're going to perform, due to that icon, another village action with your hero on a village action space, possibly gaining warmth and moving villagers as usual. After performing a second village action, you may not use your familiar to activate another building row. You may not use your familiar, you have to use your familiar only once per turn. If you take village actions on consecutive turns, you may not trigger a building row that already contains your familiar. For example, if your familiar triggered the top row on your previous turn, you may only trigger the bottom building row or forfeit using your familiar this turn if you choose to do so. I don't think that's possible, but let's say you don't want. The last concept I want to mention is to build a flow shrine. You may build a flow shrine as free action at any time during a map turn. We'll explain the map turn later. But before you may build a flow shrine, you must unlock a flow stone on your player board, as we indicated before, a flow stone above the topmost spot of the resource track. Once you have an unlocked flow stone, you may build a flow shrine as follows. First, you place the unlocked flow stone inside a vacant flow shrine, here, on an iceberg with your hero. That means that your hero must be here on that iceberg in order for you to be able to place a shrine there. You score 1 victory point as indicated on your player board when removing the flow stone from the space above its corresponding resource track, and then you trigger a level up effect as indicated inside the flow shrine, because you see the flow shrine shows a level up icon, and we're going to have a level up trigger. More on that later. You can also build a flow shrine with map tokens. These are the map tokens at the bottom, as you can see. And once you have 4, let's say, 4 of those, right? If you have 4 map tokens, you may flip and arrange them to form a flow shrine in your play area. So next to your player board, you'll do that. Arrange them in a way that creates a flow shrine area. Yeah. And then you will be able to place this without the need of reaching a space on the map with your hero, obviously. When you place an unlocked flow stone inside the shrine, you still score 1 victory point, but you do not trigger a level up effect, as there is no level up effects on the back of the map tokens. It's only on the shrine locations on the map tiles as seen previously. Map turn. On a map turn, you may move your hero and then take 1 hero action, followed by a familiar action. The hero movement. To move on the map, your hero may cross shallow waters on foot to adjacent icebergs, or use ships to sail from one sea area to another. You may use either method to combine or combine both in order to traverse. If your hero is in the village at the start of your turn because you had, let's say, taken a hero action, then you can automatically move them here because it's considered to be also on the same map area tile. So this is a free action if you wish, it's not considered an action. From there you can start moving, or from any other location that you have ended your turn previously on a map turn. Cross shallow water. Icebergs connected by shallow waters, light blue areas, are adjacent. So for example, this is our village and it's connected with shallow water with this iceberg. So these are adjacent. This is adjacent with this one. This is adjacent with this one, and so on. To move your hero to an adjacent iceberg, you must spend 1 warmth. You may cross any number of shallow waters this way, spending 1 warmth for each. If you have no warmth, you may not move, but you can still take a hero action where you are. So let's say I want to move in this location. So I need to spend 1 warmth to go across shallow waters, like that. And I can continue taking movements, spending warmth to move across shallow waters, light blue areas, to other icebergs, or I can stop so that I can take an action there. For example, I could spend 1 warmth to move here and 1 warmth to move here and take my action over there, considering that I still do have 2 warmth to decrease my warmth by 2 by moving my red cube on the left of my player board 2 spaces below in order to take this movement. Sailing. In addition to moving your hero across seas, dark blue areas, ships allow you to explore sea areas, gather exploration tokens and discover regions of the map, reveal new map boards, etc. To sail with a ship, your hero must be on an iceberg with a ship. We start from the village area, which we has a ship at the start of the game, because it's next to each of the piers, one here and one there. But it doesn't matter, we could have been starting our turn here, and we have a ship anchored here, yeah, next to this pier. In any case, for the benefit of the example, let's say we start from here. This is our orange hero, and we want to explore, to move by sailing. So we need to be on an area, on an iceberg with a ship, at any time during your turn, your map turn. If you're on an iceberg with a pier, you may use 1 bubble, meaning decrease the bubble, the middle resource out of the 5 you have on your player board, by 1, in order to summon a ship to your of your choice to that pier. That means, let's say there was no available vessel here, I can spend 1 bubble to take 1 ship from any other location and summon it here, so that I can have 1 available for me. Okay, so this costs 1 bubble to do it. So to sail with a ship, let's say you have one at a pier docked next to an iceberg you're located on. In order to sail with a ship, you must spend 1 warmth to move the ship to a pier in the same sea area or in adjacent sea area. Areas are divided by shallow waters, are considered adjacent. And if you wish to sail further, you must keep spending 1 warmth for each additional sea area your ship enters. Once you stop moving the ship, you must place it on a pier within its current sea area, and then your hero must disembark onto the iceberg the ship is at. You may also continue moving your hero by foot from this location to a new iceberg by following the usual movement rules, spending 1 warmth per shallow water you cross. So, for example, let's say I have already a ship here, otherwise I need to spend a bubble to summon it. Okay, so I need to take my hero with him and I move across 1 shallow water there. Okay, so I spend 1 warmth, and let's say I move 1 more space here. I cross another shallow water to this area, so I spend another warmth. I place the ship at this docked area, and then my hero steps on the iceberg connected to this area. Okay, I went all the way around, but it was just to show you that how I use the sailing during my movement. And I can still continue moving by crossing shallows. So you either cross by on foot, okay, by crossing shallow waters by foot, by spending 1 warmth, or by using the ship to travel across dark blues across shallow waters, again spending 1 warmth. Now let's explain the campfires here, but let me also use it as a surrogate to explain, you see there is no pier around this iceberg, so the only way to reach it is to move via ice flow. Okay, so the way I can do that is I can spend 1 warmth to move here and 1 warmth to move there, yeah, in order to reach this location. But I wouldn't do that because I would only do that to take the exploration, yeah, let's say. Okay, in any case, some locations have a campfire, so this is what I'm trying to explain now. If your hero moves onto an iceberg with a campfire, immediately gain the warmth shown on the icon. Then you may continue your movement, so you don't have to stop there. Okay, so this is like a pit stop where you also gain some warmth or more, depending on the campfire. You gain that warmth and you can continue moving, or you can stop. Now, let's see the hero actions. After moving your hero on the map, we explain the movement, how it works. You may perform one of the following actions. You can either explore an iceberg or sea, visit a landmark, have an encounter, discover a region, or delve into the cave. Now, let's see each of those with a couple of more focus. Let's start with exploring an iceberg or sea. Explore an iceberg or sea. If your hero figure is on an iceberg, like in this case, this hero is sitting on this iceberg over there, you may either take an exploration token from it, meaning I can take this exploration token, or if there is a ship touching the iceberg, you may take an exploration token from the sea area where the ship is. So, for example, let's say it was this here, and there is a ship touching the iceberg. That means I could take this exploration belonging to this sea here, this sea exploration token. When you take an exploration token, you immediately trigger and resolve its effect shown on it, and then you remove it from the game. You have exploration tokens. They could be all sorts, from starting iceberg exploration tokens, like you gain a mushroom, a wood, a crate, a map tile, or you could have starting sea exploration tokens where you can gain a pearl, a kelp, a map, or a dive. And then you can have additional exploration tokens like the ones pulled from the bag, like these ones you see here, which could be also again keys, potions, crystals, bubbles, dives, events that you can take, treasures, crates, and resources, of course, depending on the exploration token. So as mentioned, exploration tokens could be a pearl, kelp, mushroom, wood, or bubbles. You gain the number of resources shown on it. For example, if it shows, I don't know, a mushroom, you just move your mushroom track one up. Then it could be maps, crates, or potions, like this one. You take the corresponding token from the general supply and you place it face up in your supply. You may have a maximum of 6 crates, 6 maps, and 6 potions, and you must discard any excess tokens to maintain within this limit. When you take a crate token, you place it face up next to your player board. At any time during your turn, you can spend it to activate its reward. If there are 2 benefits, you can only activate one of them. You can also have crystals. We've seen the crystals. They come into a crystal icon, denominations of 1 and 3. So maybe an exploration token shows a crystal. If it is a crystal, you take the crystal from the general supply and place it in your supply, and there is no limit to the number of crystals you may have. You can exchange them later on at the academy over here, exchanging crystals for the different benefits. You can also gain dive icons. Dive icons are like these, yeah. So if you find on an exploration token a dive icon, you perform a dive. We'll explain that later. You can have chests or keys. That means that once you do, you unlock the respective marker on your player board. And if you have both, you can take a treasure, if you remember. And then some of those can have a red or a white flag, a blue or a white flag, which have an ice or a sea encounter respectively. And then you need to take an encounter. Now, a word about the dive, which comes from this icon when taken from explorations. To resolve a dive action, you choose one of the 4 topmost dive tiles that you have on the cave board on the right side. Let me show you how this looks like in a sec. These are the dive tiles. Yeah, they have the dive icon at the back. So in order to perform the dive, to resolve the dive action, what you do is you choose one of the 4 topmost dive tiles, spend the warmth indicated next to the tile. Okay, could be 1, 1, or 2. Then you resolve its effect and you remove the tile from the column. Then slide all the dive tokens below your chosen dive token up 1 space and place your chosen token on the bottom. So these are going to be rotating like a belt, okay, moving like that depending on what you choose, and the cost on warmth is going to vary depending on the position of the tokens next to the warmth icon cost. Discover region. If you move a ship to a sea area bordering a face down map board, like doing so, move here, from there move here, and then it's bordering a face down map board, you may choose to reveal a new region as your hero action. However, you must also meet the requirements on the discovery tile on top of the map board. This is the discovery tile, remember, placed during setup. To reveal a new map board, meet the exploration requirement indicated on the map discovery tile, and there are 2 types of discovery tile requirements and benefits, having 1 merit, like here, and 1 map token to reveal the new region, and have an ice or sea encounter, in this case, an ice or a sea encounter. In this case, you'll discover it, but you'll have an ice encounter. You need one map and one merit, okay? Or it could be some of those tokens show 2 merits. So if it shows 2 merits, having the 2 merit symbols and spending 1 map token, or spending 2 map tokens, so the merits plus 1 map token, or 2 map tokens, ignoring the merit, in order to reveal again the tile and gain half a victory point. Okay, so you could do that. So keep in mind that the back of the map shows potentially the resource icon indicating which resource is available at that region, and they may show either a cave, showing that there could be a cave in that region, yeah, or no cave if you don't have the cave icon. In any case, as your main action, you can choose to perform this. So in this case, you would explore the once you meet the requirements, you will explore the tile by flipping it, yeah, since you have moved there. You'll need, of course, to if you have your hero, they need, once they start moving, then they need to end their movement there, yeah. So after revealing a new map board, you must place the ship on the pier in the new board's sea area and disembark on the iceberg as shown now, ending your hero movements and action. However, you may still take a familiar action, and then you discard the map discovery tile from the game board and prepare the newly revealed map board as following. First, you draw and place exploration tokens. You draw and place 1 iceberg exploration token on each iceberg on the map board. That means I take the iceberg buggy and I place 1 ice exploration token drawn from the bag onto each of those icebergs theoretically here should already have one, yeah, starting one actually, yeah, it's here, okay, and respectively I need to place a sea exploration on each of the new seas created that they do not have an exploration, like drawn from the blue bag respectively, yeah, that would be one here, and maybe one here and one here also, because it doesn't have a sea exploration token, right? Okay. Then I would secondly reveal a landmark. Each revealed map of the 4 ones has a landmark icon, you see? 1 landmark icon on this new revealed tile, okay? And each, this one has also 1 revealed one. So then I would move to the landmark section of the village board, reveal the next landmark card, take the respective landmark standee and place it on the landmark icon on the newly discovered map tile. In this case, it would be on this landmark icon over here. Each player may trigger a landmark card once as a hero action, and we'll explain this when we explain the section of visiting and landmark later on. Another option is to have an encounter. As stated, 2 map boards out of the 4 ones that are unexplored show ice and sea encounter icons. These are ice and sea encounter icons. These icons are revealed. When these icons are revealed, you place an encounter standee over the icon in the sea area closest to the village. That means for this one, this would be, I think, this one over here. Okay? Yeah. Players may have encounters by taking a hero action where the standees are. For the ice and sea encounters, as your hero action on a space with a standee, like this one, you may draw a card from the encounter deck corresponding to the flag color, white for ice encounters or blue for sea encounters, and pink for cave encounters. If you gain an encounter as bonus, you just take the type of encounter shown on the bonus. Otherwise, you have to go on the encounter standee and take the respective encounter. In this case, where the marker is, the standee is at the moment, I would take a sea encounter. So the player would take the corresponding encounter, in this case a sea encounter, and move clockwise the standee to the next spot. In this case it would be here, and it will be an ice encounter. Okay, and this will go there, and then it will go there. Okay, 2 of those 4 unexplored map tiles have flags, for blue and white flags, for standee encounter tokens. So before moving the flag encounter standee, you're going to draw a card. In this case, I would draw from this deck, and I would take it and place it below my player board. Keep in mind that I can have only 1 sea encounter and 1 ice encounter. Okay, I cannot have more than 1 of each kind. And the same goes for the cave encounters. I cannot have 2 cave encounters below my player board. If at any point I would draw, let's say from a bonus, a second encounter of the same type, like I would draw a second sea encounter, I would execute the bonus, the instant, and then I would discard it. Okay, I will still need to keep only 1 of each type below my player board. Later, when I meet the requirement for the second box, because this is instant, when I meet instant bonus, when I meet the requirement for the second box, okay, in this case have 3 merits of the specific icon, yeah, then I would be able to perform the secondary benefit at any time during my turn as a free action. Perform the listed action or have your hero at the listed space as described on the card. And if the condition requires merits, you count the number of corresponding merit icons in your play area, and then you roll the merit die once and add any merit shields to that number. If your total merit equals or exceeds 3, you gain the benefit indicated on the encounter card without paying its cost. Otherwise, you must pay the cost shown to the right of the given merit 3+ icon, and if you cannot pay, you may not get the benefit, and then you discard the encounter respectively. So these are how encounters work, and they give also additional variety and things to discover. Delve into the cave. If your hero lands on top of an iceberg with a cave icon, like this one, you can perform a cave action. In the cave, heroes battle dangerous monsters, have encounters, find treasures and crystals, and more. Hero cave markers start the game in the first chamber. After a hero defeats a monster, the marker advances to the next chamber following the tunnel path. So, you start the battle with a monster that shares the chamber with your hero cave marker, and after applying damage equal to or greater than its health, heroes defeat the monster and gain the variety of benefits that explained on the card of the monster. So, cave, let's move down. Monster decks. We have 3 types of monster decks with different colors, starting from the easier monsters to the medium difficulty and then to, let's say, the boss monster. So there are 3 monster decks identified by color on the back, green, blue and pink. Each monster card, regardless of difficulty, it shows some things. Let me make the anatomy of the cards. They show the monster health, in this case 4. They show the base damage. They show the benefits gained after monster defeat. And here it shows the in-battle monster ability at the bottom. They all follow the same format. Now, let's see the battle sequence, which is described also on your player aid and shows the steps 1 through 5. First you roll and reroll, then you have the arrows, then the monster stealth, swords and lanterns. And then this is the full sequence of the cave battle. Now, let's see it in more detail. To resolve the battle, we follow the steps shown on the battle card sequence. First, we roll and reroll hero dice. At the start of the battle, roll the number of hero dice indicated by the dice marker on your player board. If this is here, you just roll 2. If this was here, you roll 4. Okay? Then you may spend 1 warmth to reroll 1, some or all of your dice. Each of the hero dice has an icon that activates during a specific step of the sequence. Let's see now the different icons. So, first we have the arrow. This is the symbol of the arrow. And let's say now we're rolling 5 dice. Okay, so we have the arrow. The arrow deals 1 damage. Then we have the sword. The sword deals 2 damage. Then we have the critical hit. Increase the damage of all rolled arrow icons or all sword icons by 1. If you have multiple critical hits, you may apply them to either icon type. They have no effect without arrows or swords. Then you have the magic. You may be used in a variety of effects, and for this you have to consult what you can do with the magic icons, the back of the playrate, which shows the spell book and how you can spend them in order to do what. Yeah. And then you have the sneak. You reduce the damage dealt to your hero by 2. And the last one is the lantern, which is this icon over here. This icon stands for explore the cave after defeating a monster. Okay, so these are the different icons. But again, remember, the sequence that these icons are resolved is depicted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as seen on your playrate, respectively. Now, at any time during your turn, you may, during your battle, you may spend potions that you have acquired to add additional die icons to your roll. You can either add, for example, an arrow or critical damage. To use your familiar ability, you place your familiar on your familiar tile. Let me show you. I would place it here and spend 1 warmth, right, in order to add the icons shown. This is not the upgraded icon tile side, okay, so I spent 1 warmth in order to use my familiar and add one of the icons shown. In this case it was a sword and a lantern, any of the two, added to the result of my rolled hero die, respectively. After you level up an item, remember this is the item card, okay? This is the ability and this is the level up. So you have this ability once it's from this side. After you level up by spending by showing 2 merits of this craftsmanship, so you flip it and then you have also the possibility to use the below, which means after you level up an item, you may place one of your rolled dice on the item card and produce the effect, which may be another die icon or potion, etc. In this case, use it to place it here and gain another arrow, which could be useful because you were missing that. You may also use 1 or more dice showing the magic icon, okay, to trigger the effects shown on your spellbook, which is on the back of this card. I'm going to use the second one to show you. Okay. For example, you can use 1 magic to do the healing spell and gain 1 warmth. You can use 5 magic icons to do the Flowstorm spell and defeat the monster, Swordface. Or you can use the Artifice spell, use 2 magic icons to convert them into a wild, because you were missing this icon, and so on. And all these are captured on your spellbook. Now, the arrows. The arrows are at the step number 2, as you can see here. Now, for the arrows, each arrow deals 1 damage to the monster. If you defeat the monster during the arrow step, you immediately proceed to step 5. So no need to spend, if you managed to roll enough arrows to defeat the monster, then you go immediately to step 5. The third step is the monster stealth. That means to determine the monster attack damage, you roll the monster die, which is this one, okay, and you add the number rolled, 0, 1 or 2, to the base damage of the monster. I remind you, just to show you, the base damage is 2, so if I roll 2 plus 2, that would be a 4, okay? Then subtract 2 from the value for each sneak effect you have. This is a sneak effect, that's why you want to roll it, to reduce the amount of damage. Reduce your hero's warmth by number of spaces equal to the monster attack damage. If your warmth drops below 0, you remove your hero figure from the map and place it in the healer space of the village and take the healer action. Your hero cave marker remains in the chamber where your hero was defeated, and when you explore the cave on a future turn, you will have to face the same chamber and the same monster again. The fourth step is swords. Each sword icon deals 2 damage. So in this case, I would have 2 damage to the monster. You add sword damage to the damage applied during the arrow step. So if I had 1 here plus 2, a total of 3, for example. And let's say I had another arrow, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And this monster just needs 4 to be defeated, assuming that I didn't roll any extra additional modifier. If you defeat the monster similarly, you proceed to step 5. If you do not defeat the monster and the monster does not defeat you, advance your hero marker to the next chamber on the cave map board at the bottom of the play board and gain the benefit shown on the tunnel between the two chambers. However, you do not gain the monster card benefit on the chamber or the chamber benefit respectively. You flip the monster card to the next chamber face up and reveal it if it was face down. So meaning you proceed, you gain the benefit. If you didn't defeat it and it didn't defeat you, you go here and you reveal the next card, but you don't gain the benefit of the chamber nor the benefit of the card. Now, the fifth and last step is the lanterns. After defeating a monster, you gain a cave exploration token for each lantern icon you rolled. You choose a cave exploration token from any slot in the cave chamber with your hero marker or from any slot in a previous chamber, and you gain the benefit and return the token to the cave bug. Defeating a monster. Let's say we defeated this monster. After defeating the monster, gain benefits and proceed to the next chamber. First, you choose a benefit shown on the master card and the benefits indicated in the chamber, a goal card, draw 2, choose 1, and put the other one at the bottom of the deck, or half a victory point, for example. Remove the monster, okay, the monster card, from the game and replace it with a card from the monster deck of the same color, meaning same deck. If there is a hero cave marker on this chamber, place the card face up. If not, place a card face down. And then you advance your hero marker to the next chamber and gain the benefit shown in the tunnel. So you move across, you go here, so I gain 1 secret goal, I move across, I gain this benefit, I come here and with my marker, let's say I was this guy, defeat this. Okay, I remove the card, put a new one, take the scroll, secret goal for me, take 2, choose 1, move across, take the benefit, come here and reveal this new card, which is going to be the next monster. If it was already face down, if it's face up, that's okay. So this is the way the battle goes. There are some special chambers, like this one over here. The third chamber is a cave, has no monster. Instead, there is when the hero marker proceeds and reaches this chamber, 1, 2, 3, via the tunnel, you reveal a cave card event. The rest of the players reaching this chamber will use the same event card. Remember, we have an event card here. So each cave event shows 2 effects. Let's show them. You have 2 effects, as you can see, an instant or ongoing effect on the top in this example, and a final effect triggered when the hero marker reaches the final chamber and chooses the cave space. Okay, and this is revealed moving forward so that it's face up for everybody. You place the event token on the chamber, showing its instant or ongoing side accordingly, instant or ongoing side accordingly. Yeah. He activates the cave event card, proceeds and stops its movement in the next chamber with a monster. The final chamber, once you have explored all these monsters and hopefully moved through all these dangers, you will be reaching down here the final monster, the final chamber. Okay? Now, here, when you advance to the final chamber, you place your hero marker in a vacant space and gain one of the benefits shown. Once I defeat this one, I'm going to move here to the final chamber. I'm going to place it here, 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 or here. Gain one of the benefits, 1 gold card, the benefit indicated on the cave event card. Advance a flow stone or trigger a level up event. If your hero marker is in the final chamber and you explore the cave, instead you gain 1 crystal. So this is how the cave exploration encounter, let's say, works, and how you battle through monsters. Visit a landmark. You have a landmark here revealed, and you go here with your hero figure and you take the visit and landmark action. Landmarks can be visited either by iceberg or by sea. And if you must also have an unlocked player cube, meaning you must have cubes on top of your character tile, meaning here have 1 and 1, 2 unlocked. Okay, I need to have unlocked cubes. Now, you may only place 1 cube per landmark card. You place a cube on the landmark card when it remains for the rest of the game, so you take 1 unlocked cube. I came here to this landmark, okay, matching the standee, and I place it on one of these spots. After placing a cube, you gain the benefit printed below your cube. You gain half a victory point. Activate the effect at the bottom of the card, and this can be instantaneous effects or permanent or ongoing abilities, etc. For example, in this case, choose one, complete your specific hot spring action, etc. Okay, so this is what you get by visiting a landmark. Cave encounters. So if you gain a cave encounter, a pig flag, you draw the top card from the pink deck, place the card face up in your play area, and immediately gain the one-time benefit shown on the card. Later, if you meet the condition listed on the right, you may gain the secondary benefit on the right. After a battle with a monster, and if your hero was not defeated and sent to the healer, check the faces of your dice you roll this turn. If the faces show the icons that the encounter card requires, gain the secondary benefit and discard the card face up under its deck. If the dice do not show these faces, you may keep the card and attempt to gain the benefits on a future turn. This is how the cave encounters work. Now, let's move to the familiar actions. Remember, we have a familiar. On your turn, you may take 1 familiar action after taking your main action. Your familiar may take a different action depending on the area your hero ends its turn. Icebergs. So if you end on an iceberg, like this case, let's say, for example, I ended up here on this iceberg. Yeah, you spend 1 warmth, or don't spend warmth if your familiar is level up, flipped familiar tile, and place your familiar on a vacant slot in the shallow waters, light blue areas adjacent to the iceberg with your hero. That means, this is in a case, I could place it here, spending 1 warmth, or not spending if it's upgraded, and then you may gain an exploration token or trigger an encounter effect on any iceberg or sea adjacent to the shallow water your familiar is in. You may instead choose to gain the benefit shown in the slot. In this case, a bubble. This is how the familiar action works if you take an iceberg action with your hero. If you take a cave action with your hero, so let's say a cave action with my hero, in the cave, familiars assist heroes during battles by adding an icon to the hero dice rolled. If you do not use your familiar in the battle, you may not perform an action on the iceberg where your hero figure is located. If your hero is defeated during a battle, you may take your familiar action in the village. In the village, respectively. If we are in the village, you may take, activate a building, top or row bottom, and take all the benefits next to your player boards for the buildings you have, as we have shown before. In the village, familiars activate building top or building bottom and the corresponding row without spending warmth. You may not use your familiar to build flow shrine, battle in the cave without a hero, visit landmarks, or use village action spaces. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the hero abilities. Remember these cards? These cards were the hero abilities that we set during setup. Hero abilities allow players to gain benefits by meeting specific requirements. During your turn, you may use each of your unlocked hero abilities once, unless noted otherwise. You start the game with a single ability and you may gain more through level up effects. Each hero ability has 4 steps. Level 1, you get the main ability. Level 2, you gain a permanent merit. Level 3, you upgrade your main ability. And level 4, you gain half a point. And this is depicted each time on the respective side of the level. And you may gain additional abilities down the road through leveling up. Speaking of leveling up, remember we have this icon which stands for level up. Whenever you trigger the level up, you choose one of the following things to do to level up: the dice track, the familiar tile, or the hero ability. So for the dice track, we simply take the, I don't have the cube here, it was here, it was moved before. I take the the dice track, and that means that I roll more dice during combat, so I put it one side to the right. If it is a familiar card, I simply flip the familiar tile, so in this case from the flip side I don't require to use warmth. I don't spend warmth on the map actions. And the hero ability cards, each hero has 2 abilities, some may be unlocked later, and there are 2 cards for each ability, each face marked with levels 1 through 4. When you level up your hero ability, advance to the next level by flipping or switching the card to the next highest number. So for 1, I would go to 2 if I level up and choose to take the level up for my hero. Each subsequent level provides a more powerful version of the level effect. After your hero ability is at level 4, your next level up, you may choose a new hero ability. You place your new hero ability with a side level 1 visible, giving you 2 active hero abilities, and you place it next to the other. So this is how abilities work. Endgame. The first player whose marker reaches 6 space on the victory point track gains half a victory point, as indicated by the endgame token on the space, and removes the token from the game. Immediately end the current round, and each player then takes a final turn, starting with the first player. After completing the final round, players reveal the secret goal cards and score additional points for every fulfilled goal. The player with the most victory points wins the game, claiming the title of the boldest explorer in the village. In case of a tie, the tied players with an extra half points wins. If still tied, the player with the most unlocked flow stones wins, and if still there is a tie, the tied players share the victory. So just to give you a simple idea, there is a very nice description of all the icons that you have. Iconography is very simple, but what I wanted to show you is how, this is just an example, this is work under progress obviously, how the progressive way of the unlocking will happen. This is just under development, I suppose, or final tuning, so this is not final from what I understand. For the 3 first introductory games you can have some different changes, so progressively you add more rules to the full rule set that I just explained, and now you know everything you need to know on how to play Flow. So there you have it. This is how Flow works in practice. These are all the rules, and this is actually a detailed explanation with examples of everything you need to know to play the full game. The game is going to be introduced in 3, let's say, gradually increasing rule set introductory games, which bring more rules. But it's very easy to get behind. Mechanisms make sense. It's what you would expect if you're an experienced seasoned gamer. But it's also very accessible and very family friendly and very inviting to new gamers and players who have a mix of groups, younger and older gaming members around the table. But let's focus on the game itself. For me, the game itself, it's one of a kind. It's a unique game. I always like this in new designs, and the reason I like this is because I typically enjoy Euro games and I would say worker placement games with interesting take and different takes, I should say, on the worker placement mechanism, which is one of my favorite ones. I really enjoy games which have a lot of resource management, leveling up, upgrading, etc, etc. And this one on its own as a design is unique. The Mancala mechanism, which is a well-known mechanism, is used very nicely, smoothly into the design with no difficulty into understanding how you gain warmth. Warmth is so important in this game because you need warmth to prepare for your cold endeavors and travel further away and discover more things and gain more victory points out of it. But what is more interesting is into the whole game idea, game design and gaming experience, I really honestly get a very strong adventure feeling. Now, this is not a narrative game with hidden stories and branches and all sorts of heavy theme and heavy narration. This is an adventure feeling that you gain out of the well-crafted mechanisms of the game. You really feel like you're exploring, you really feel that you're discovering landmarks, that you're going down into the cave, battling and facing off monsters and trying to get the benefits out of that. Even the diving tokens that you find as a bonus, it felt like I was diving from my sailing boat into the sea to gain some rewards. I know you may think that I'm overreacting or overhyped because it's Fantasia Games, Pika Games I should say, a beautiful game, beautiful art, beautiful in all aspects of the design and the looks and the development. But it's not just that, it's really unique. I think that it's an excellent marriage between, or blend I should say, between an adventure game and a worker placement game with a lot of things to discover, a lot of options, interesting mechanics, clever ideas, interesting leveling up, lots of abilities, lots of different areas to discover. You can focus on specific things on the game and not mention or not bother with other things and still have an opportunity to win. So many paths to victory, so many ways to gain victory points. But most importantly, this is not a VP Salad game. You gain victory points from a lot of different things, but it's a game where I think the session, the gaming experience, tells a story at the end of the gaming experience. You feel like you have taken with your little animal hero, and it's familiar, an adventure, explored, fought monsters, fought the cold. Even the warmth, the way that the mechanism works from gaining warmth when you are visiting a spot with more villages is fantastic. It's a great as an idea. You're close to people and you talk, you interact and you gain warmth, and you need this warmth to prepare for your harsh travel into the cold. So wow, absolutely amazing. The only thing that I can't wait to see is what they're going to discover. I'm sure they're going to have additional minis, I'm going to have unlockable things, they're going to have expansions. They say they already speak about a co-op expansion, so that can be played also solo, and all sorts of things that we expect from this, from the bar, which is already high from this company. So, and the designers. Make no mistake, the designers are an amazing team, and I think they have delivered a fantastic end result and an excellent gaming experience for all of us. So, this is Flow. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you a good understanding of how it plays. I hope I shared my enthusiasm with you, which is not justified, it's fully justified in my biased opinion. I had a fantastic time playing Flow, I really recommend it, and I can't wait to see what they're going to add into the mix, but I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. This is Flow.